show you today's outfit. I wish it had pockets, but anyway. Simple yellow jumpsuit and some cute, hope you can see, sandals. Yeah, so yellow thingy black. Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we're going to be talking about struggles that some international students face in the US. And I want just to point out that these struggles may vary, like between international students, but the ones that I'm going to talk about are the ones that I have faced, and also some of my friends that I know have faced. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, the first and most common struggle is feeling homesick. I mean, basically, being a student is hard, and add on top of it, being far away from your family or the environment that you're used to. So, I remember the first time I came here, I was homesick. I even called my mom. Maybe I've said this before, but I called my mom and I was crying, telling her I want to come back home, like this is hard. And that was because of I underestimated how hard it will be to be, far from your family and being basically alone and making all these decisions and not having to come back, like after classes. When you come back, you're not going back to your family, you're going to your dorm room, which is just small, and it's yeah. And I want to point out that as I said in my previous videos, for my high school I went to a boarding school. So it's a little bit different because in boarding school we used to have visiting days whereby my parents or my sisters will come and visit me for the whole day. Basically, we'll spend time together. Or it was, and then after 3 months I would go back home for like holiday. So it wasn't like, so when I initially came here I thought it was going to be kind of like similar, like yeah, I'm going to be away from home for like years. But I just thought boarding school has prepared me for this, but really, yeah, I wasn't fully prepared. So homesickness is the most common struggle that most international students face. So, and also culture shock. If you watch my previous video, there are like cultural differences, from whatever country you come from. People do things differently from what Americans or Canadians or whoever. So it's culture shock also is one of the struggles. So however, over the years I've learned how to deal with homesickness and culture shock. Homesickness, you just have to talk to your family more, reach out, and just also venture out, get out of your comfort zone, meet new people, meet new friends, try new things, try new food. Accept. The first step is to accept that you're not home, and then take it from there. So I feel like that's what I learned, and I reached out for help. I met host families, and they were amazing. They'll show me around. So yeah. And then the second struggle is, of course, food. It's different, and even if you try to go, I don't know for other people. I mean, for in the city I don't know any African, restaurant whereby I can go and be like, oh, I want salsa, or I want cornmeal, or I want, all that. I have to make it myself. But if you for the first 2 years I used to live in the dormitories, and I used to have a meal plan, so I couldn't make it myself, because I used to pay for the dining hall part. So yeah, it's a struggle because the food is different. Even if you try to make it, sometimes it doesn't taste the same. So yeah, food is another struggle that international students have to adapt to. And then my third point will be making friends. It's not as easy as we see on TV. Like, oh, I'll go to college. I'll First day I'll meet my, all that movie thing. Yeah, it's having to put yourself out there, having to make yourself more vulnerable, having to put yourself to try new things and to accept. Because me, when I came here, I had the mindset like, oh, I already have my friends like back home. So here I'm not. It wasn't my priority to make friends, but then you do need friends, because things happen in life, you need people to talk to, you need to get your things off your mind. Like school can be stressful, so you want to be like after class, you're like, oh, let me go hang out or get a drink or get food or get with my friend, let's go out for lunch. So yeah, and it's a struggle because the social aspects of it can be a little bit challenging, especially if there's a language barrier. For me personally, I grew up whereby we were taught English most of our classes. Like I think when I was in kindergarten to A level, we studied English. But however, the problem was my accent. So most people wouldn't really understand what, even now, because one, I talk low, two, it's like my accent is very thick, and sometimes I don't pronounce it the way Americans usually pronounce it. So it's like they'll be like, huh? And then it will make me like uncomfortable. So I end up not trying to make friends because I always, in my mind, I was like, they wouldn't understand me, but you just have to put yourself out there. And so I'm imagining it, how hard it is for someone who didn't grow up speaking English and they're just placed in America whereby they speak English. So it's like it's even harder for them to make friends because first they have to overcome the language barrier, and then go to the social aspect of it, the difference in everything, and then making friends eventually. And then another struggle would be financial struggles. So in America, when you're on an F1 visa, so F1 visa is a student visa, you cannot do any other job unless if it's work study or your internship. So work study is work that you can only do like around campus or like around offices. You can be an office assistant. So my first 1.5 years, maybe, yeah, 1.5 years, I was an office assistant for the registrar's office. I would help with filing, I will help with all that stuff. And the problem is, well, it's, let me put it this way, it's not actually a problem, but it's like if you work on campus, most of the jobs are minimum wages, which is like maybe $7 an hour. And things are expensive in America. Like you need to have a phone plan. It's different. So for Americans, this will sound normal when I say you need to have a phone plan. But back home in Zimbabwe, you don't need to have a set phone plan. So you pay as you go. So I may charge a dollar for a week for me maybe to use. I don't know if the rates have changed because I've been here for some years, but a dollar for a week for me to talk with my friends, text and all that. But I know here in America, you need to have like a phone plan, maybe like $30, which is can be limited text, can be limited calls, can be limited airtime. So yeah, their phone bills, and then you also have upkeeping, general like monthly things. And the other problem is when you work like on campus, you have certain hours you're only allowed to work because you are a student, so they want you to focus more on your studies rather than making money. So all those are like barriers. And getting an internship, so an internship will be an attachment, that's what we call, yeah, an attachment in Zimbabwe. So it's like you have to work in your field of study, which I was very fortunate to find a year ago. Yeah, a year ago. And the pay varies and all that. So yeah, that's like an internship which pays a little bit more than the minimum wage, but also you also have like I think it's 20 hours a week that you can work, or is it 15, between 15 and 20 that you can work because you're a part-time student and you have to focus on your studies. So yeah, financial struggles are very common among international students. So I've lost count if it's the fifth or the sixth point. But the other struggle that international students face is, well, I also faced, was the new sport kind of thing. So usually, like here, to unwind from school, there are a lot of sporting events that you go to. But so there's something called American football. So back home, football is soccer. It's like football, you use it interchange, so it's either football or soccer. But here it's like I want to say it looks like rugby, but it's not. I honestly don't know how it's played, and till this day I do not understand it. I've watched I think 2 Super Bowls, and yeah, I was just watching because my friends were watching, but I felt like after the first half I was, yeah, I just did not understand what was happening. So yeah, new sports can be a challenge, because you want to try something fun. And also baseball and softball. That's what I used to go and watch a lot. And I thought it looked like cricket, but no. Yeah, no, I don't know if I can say I understand the rules and all that, but you guys get the point. So yeah, new sports. And then the other struggle is like the new education system. So I realized that it was a little bit relaxed, but with a lot of work. I don't know if that makes sense. So high school, I remember we used to have lots and lots of work. And if I remember well, when we would have exams, we wouldn't have like a set syllabus of like, oh, this week we're going to study this, because here teachers print it out, they give it to you. This week we're doing this, then we have an exam on this exact date. But in high school, it was like they'd be like, we'll have an exam maybe sometime in 2 weeks. And you have to constantly be studying for it because you don't know when it'll come. Like the teacher will be like, okay, the exam's today, and they're like, I did not prepare for it. But here it's like they give you the set of plan. They tell you 3 months ahead of what to expect and all that. And we also use a platform called Blackboard, which I was not very familiar with. It took me a little while to get used to it. So it's where like all professors post the course documents, the evaluations, the quiz, the syllabus, everything. However, the other struggle that I had to face on top is that computer science department has its own website, which is like they don't really use Blackboard, but they use that website. So you have to go to that website on top of Blackboard. So yeah, it was, yeah, and also the just the class setup. I mean, to some people might not be a struggle, but just the American teacher and student relationship, it's just too friendly for what I was used to. So it was like a struggle to get used to it, because it was like, do I, you know, call them by their first name, and also do I, like, students will be just telling the professor about their weekends, like, oh, we went to a party and all that. And I'm thinking like, back home I can never tell a professor that I went to a party. Like, they'll be just looking at me like, do you know who you're talking to? There's that level of respect that they put out, that is like the teacher is up there and you're here. But here somehow they try to close that gap, and it's almost kind of like on a friendly basis. So it might be a pro, it might be a con. So it just depends on how you view it. So yeah, what else? The other struggle that I faced was understanding how states worked. Because in Zimbabwe, we don't have like states, we have provinces. But here in America, there's states, and then so it's kind of like a state is its own country in a country, but not really, if you understand. Like, laws can vary from state to state. So that was one thing like I didn't really understand, because I thought, oh, if I want to take maybe for say my driver's license, I can take it in California and drive. Anyway, you can do that, but they are like, it's, I don't know how to put it. You have to, if you're in an Indiana resident, they usually, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're an Indiana resident, which is the state I'm in, you have to get your license from the Indiana Bureau license place, and then that's how it's done. But yeah, so it's like a state is its own small country, different rules. Like right now during lockdown, I know some states like restaurants, bars, what else? Yeah, some places they're like not fully open. They're like semi-closed. Some are not even open. But I know in my state it's open. So everything just varies from state to state, which was a struggle for me to understand at first. Like, how does this work? And also the accents are very different throughout. There's some with a very thick accent, there's some with a very, you don't even understand what they're saying accent. So yeah, so basically these are the struggles that I and some of my friends experience being international students. I hope this will help someone as as they are planning to apply to the United States. So if you want me to make a video on how you apply to the United States, the struggles, what to expect, gosh, what to expect, please comment down below and I'll certainly do that video, because yeah, it's really a struggle. I wish I had researched more and watched, but for me everything was kind of like in a rush, because our graduation time and American graduation times are not on the same line, so I had to take a gap. Yeah, that's the story of another day. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions that you want me to answer pertaining this video, just comment down below and I will surely answer. I have started answering comments. But yeah, so just tell me like if you want me to address the struggles, or how I feel like I kind of touched bases of how I overcame some of the problems, but I didn't, you know, fully go into detail with some of it. So yeah, if you want that, just comment whatever suggestions. I'm taking suggestions on topics and all that. Thank you so much for watching this video, taking your time. I know you could have done a lot of things, but I really appreciate the support. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and please share it with your friends. You never know, it might help someone, and it also helps me. I get to reach out to more people. So yeah, thank you so much. Till next time. Bye.